he lists ping pong as his strongest sport. You're listening to Game Points with Matthew Ross on TSN Radio 690.
It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never had. Ooh.
Run the tracker, and them off it try all the way back. And me say wolf and I go to and we go on to the top. Ride the tracker, the rhythm is sweet and the dance all.
Little 19 on TSN 690. That song, it's a remake, obviously. Toto in Africa, still the best from the 80s. Africa by Toto, I should say. And that's a remake by a gentleman by the name of Carl Wolf, who will be on this program in about an hour's time, just over an hour's time. Hip-hop artist from Toronto, big Raptors fan, so we'll chat with him a little later on. It's Game Points here. We're here till 1 o'clock, an early start for us because of the Raptors game a little later on today. A quick bulletin from anybody who went to Wager High School on May 21st from 8 p.m. until 2 a.m. I like how they put till 2 a.m. Who specifies the end?
You never say when the end of the party is.
No, you don't. You just don't.
You just let it go.
Wager High School, 5785 Parkhaven Avenue. If you went the class of 1990 or 91, they're having a reunion next week, according to my calculations here. The cost is $30 in advance. If you're interested and you want to participate, email bradlevine2005 at hotmail.com. bradlevine2005 at hotmail.com. And other public service announcements, you say? Well, sure. There is a golf tournament coming up on July 8th to benefit the BASF Scholarship Fund. It is the Jackie Robinson Golf Tournament, thrown by Glenn Gunley, and he's a well-known figure in Montreal black business community for many, many years, and he runs this Jackie Robinson Golf Tournament annually. If you would like more information on this tournament, you can email Glenn Gunning, Glenn, GLENGUN at hotmail.com. Glenn Gunn, that's a pretty cool email. I like that. At hotmail.com. Or you can give him a call at 514-247-2045. You got registration, barbecue, tee-offs, cocktail music, supper, prizes. It's a fun event. It's Golf St. Raphael is the place in Il Bazaar. So if you're interested, give Glenn a call, 247-2045. It is Game Points here on TSN 690, brought to you by RoyalCeramic.com, 514-324-0002. Mr. Dave Trentadue has been digging in to the big storylines in the NHL this weekend. Dave, what do you got for us?
Well, one of the bigger ones, of course, was Ben Bishop. The Ben Bishop injury in Game 1. He had to be carried off the ice. He was replaced by...
By the way, that's a large stretcher. I mean, the guy's 6'7",
yeah.
is he? With skates,
it's
is probably
a
what, 6'9"?
What are they bringing a stretcher out there?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was replaced by Andrei Vasilevskiy, who's a top prospect, former first-round draft pick. I mean, it seems to be next man up for Tampa all the time. Stamkos is no Stamkos, no Anton Strawman. So do you think this is going to affect him in any way? It seems as though the X-rays were negative. He's day-to-day, but it seems as though Vasilevskiy will start Game 2.
Yeah, this isn't UC Markkinen in the 2006 Stanley Cup Final. Vasilevskiy is a very good backup goaltender. Many teams he'd be actually starting already. I think that this is going to be really interesting. I don't know if there'll be a huge drop-off here. You may have a little bit of the experience get to him. I would watch him early in Game 2. If Vasilevskiy starts Game 2 early on, if he makes a couple of quick saves, I think he's off to the races. He has a great game. But this is going to be an interesting storyline, and we'll see if Crosby and company take advantage of it.
I'm not one that really believes, for the most part, except for maybe in the Montreal Canadiens case, but in a Stanley Cup run, often you'll see a good team is going to persevere despite their goalie being lost. But in this case, I think Tampa Bay's in trouble a little bit. There's something about Ben Bishop that, he doesn't make big, flashy saves. He's huge.
He's huge.
Obviously, his positioning is fantastic. He's athletic, but, he's not flashy, and he doesn't, he's not diving for the saves. He just positions well. He knows where to be. He cuts the angles down. And I think Tampa Bay has really relied on him in a different way. There's no sense of urgency when you're playing in front of Ben Bishop. Vasilevskiy's a good goaltender as well, but I think there's going to be a little more sense of urgency, and I think Pittsburgh's offense can come in and take advantage of that.
Yeah, ironically, Andrei Vasilevskiy has become the first goaltender in NHL history to win his first 2 playoff games in relief. Like last year in the Stanley Cup Finals, he came in also against the Blackhawks in Game 2. So
Vasilevskiy, by the way, 6'3", 207, so obviously giving up 4 inches to
Not
Bishop.
small, though.
But
Yeah.
not a small guy, Russian. He's only 21. Keep that in mind here, folks.
Yeah.
21 years old. So we'll see if the pressure gets to him, especially going up against Malkin and Crosby and, Kessel and all those guns on the other side. And by the way, don't forget, Pittsburgh's got a pretty young goaltender right now as well in Matt Murray. So this is I don't think anybody saw this going into the season this year. Matt Murray versus Vasilevskiy in the conference finals.
Game 2, conference finals. Murray, Vasilevskiy.
Elsewhere.
Well, we're gonna stick with that series. I want to get your thoughts on the Ryan Callahan hit on Kris Letang. He's not going to be suspended for it. It was a pretty brutal hit from behind, but no suspension.
Well, I always defer to the NHL. They always get it right. This is, the NHL, they protect their I don't know anymore. I don't have enough of a pedigree in NHL rule booking. I just made that up. And in what they're going to call and not going to call anymore. Jay, anything?
I'm thinking. I saw that hit, and everything is up for interpretation. There's always confirmation bias depending on who's looking at the replay. But you'd have to say that this is a suspendable hit. It has to be. There was enough time for him to let up. It was brutal. And not only was it just a hit from behind, it was a driving hit. He made sure that his head went straight first into the boards. There was anger behind the hit. You could see that. And from some of the other hits that we've seen earlier in the playoffs, I think there were 2 suspensions so far. I don't see how this is not a suspendable. And what's going to make it worse is now I think the rivalry's on. I think you're going to see some nasty stuff in Game 2, especially if one team goes up early.
And just circling back to Vasilevskiy, I think the Pens are going to rush that net as well.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of, chip the puck to the net and just, ice in the face and try and disrupt this guy.
Well, they're going to get at him, and I think the Lightning defense is in a little bit of trouble. They're going to be running around with like chickens with their heads cut off.
And it sets a bad precedent because now what happens if a Pittsburgh player gives a dirty hit like that? I mean, you can't suspend him after not suspending Callahan.
You'd have to think that somebody's going to be taking a shot at somebody else in this game. I'd be watching this one real closely.
By the way, just following Twitter here and from Pens Inside Scoop, the pairs, the defensive pairings at practice today for the Penguins in order: Dumoulin and Letang, Daly, Lovejoy, and of course Ian Cole and Schultz on that final pairing. So Oli Mata was on the outside looking in here on this pairing. Quite interesting stuff there. And finally,
I think Oli Mata is still wondering where he is.
Yeah, well,
at
that's
this
it.
point.
Exactly.
Sidney Crosby, he has only 1 even strength point in his last 7 games. Evgeny Malkin, no points in his last 5 games. I mean, they beat Washington without them. Can they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning and get to the conference finals?
No, they can't. And Game 1 proved that. 3-1 win by the Tampa Bay Lightning. They've been there, done that, and they're not even doing it with Stamkos. I think they're just such a well-oiled machine right now. Unless the Penguins get these guys showing up tomorrow night. One or two of them have to show up tomorrow night. If both are shut out tomorrow night on the scoreboard, I don't see how Tampa Bay loses that game. I just don't. Pierre Maguire talked about the Lightning coming into the playoffs saying without Stamkos and Stralman, next man up, everybody has to play a little better. And guess what? They have. Every single line has contributed for Tampa Bay. So I don't see how the Penguins get anywhere without those 2 guys. All right, it's Game Points here on TSN 690. Got a Jay Farrar SportsCenter update on the other side. We'll have Dave Pagnotta from the fourthperiod.com with more NHL talk. Still to come on this program just after noon, we will have from the Denver Broncos rookie defensive tackle Kyle Pecco will join us. Also, later on, we'll have Carl Wolf, hip-hop artist from Toronto, talking about his Raptors as TSN 690 will bring you Game 7 Heat Raptors. Coming up a little later on Montreal Sports Authority, TSN 690.